These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Frank 26 Firefly. The news is saying the budget was returned to the finance minister for a new exchange rate. Frank says the monetary reform has been very successful to bring stability and security to your new exchange rate, and you have plenty of financial support not only through the economic reforms, but through the foreign reserves you have to back the new exchange rate of your new currency that is coming and the float that is about to occur. Frank continues, in my opinion, now that we are walking into the first week of March, you're about to see the new small category notes, new exchange rate, and you will be given instructions by the CBI on how, where, and when you are to handle your new currency reform. This first week of March has great potential, and I strongly believe there's nothing that's going to get in the way of this, in my opinion. Pimpy says gold is the second largest export for Iraq next to oil and gas. You can only imagine what would happen to Iraq if they would allow an actual mining company coming in there and mine all the gold. All right, Mark Z via PDK says the overwhelming majority of my sources believe it will start in the next hours or within a day or two. Sandy Ingram says many of us are wondering if these new deals with China are good for our Iraqi dinar investments. What we are seeing is a small country pulling away from the West, moving towards friendships, partnerships, and deals with China and neighboring countries. This is not necessarily a bad thing for Iraqi dinar investors. As long as Iraq is making safe progress, we don't care who they hold hands with as long as sanctions are not in place with the people they are holding hands with. We want an increased value in the IQD against the US dollar. Frank 26 Firefly, my bank friend, says he's the second phase that we're in right now is all about the currency reform. He said this will allow us to float inside of Iraq and then outside. The rate has been released. It will be independent of the rate. Whatever they have it now in the budget as a rate, they will adjust it. He feels the currency reform allows the floating, which will cause adjustment in the budget. Frank said that is 100% correct. Hennig article, quote, U.S. specialized agency, Iraq will not undermine the dominance of the dollar by paying the yen to China. Quote, Middle East officials are quick to say the dollar will remain the currency of choice for energy. Militiaman says at this stage of the game, we're expecting them to have an education process. If they're going to be international currency and they're going to come out with an international real effective exchange rate, they're going to need new small category notes. From the CBI's website back in 2018, they allocated millions and millions of dollars to print small category notes. Hopefully this is one of those times where we're going to see some education. We can see it any time, and that is where we're at. Mark Z via PDK member statement. I have heard that because of the amount of trade between Iraq and Vietnam, if Iraq goes first and alone, it would force Vietnam to go as well. Mark Z says, I couldn't agree more. I have a number of contacts that have also told me that it would cause major trade imbalances if they both don't go. All right, Walking Stick via Frank 26. They are de-dollarizing because they are sovereign. They will not use any currency but their own. It will create a supply and demand that will drive the rate. When it floats, the economic reform will be the stimulus for the float as it moves upwardly until they cap it. All right, Jeff says, as of right now, Iraq has achieved political stability since October of last year. They're moving forward to get their economics launched and rejoin the international world. Those are the steps they're in the middle of right now. Frank 26, Iraq boots on the ground report, Firefly. Bank friend said new SWIFT system in the Buma is going on already. They're having us change from the dollar to the dinar. There are even penalties against us if we don't do this. They're saying they want us to pay for things only in the dinar and told us this system will add value to our dinar. The new SWIFT system is the building block to this. Frank says these international platforms are ready to go with the Iraqi dinar, not with the American dollar anymore, and that's huge, more than likely very soon. At the beginning of the month, the CBI is going to show you your new exchange rate, your new currency. They will explain to you how your new exchange rate will be attached to your new currency. Prepare yourself for this fact, in my opinion. All right, Pimpy question, what's going to happen with our dinar when they redenominate their currency? I think we will be left holding a worthless currency that we have today, unquote. Pimpy says, no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be left with some worthless currency. We will be able to exchange it. And lastly, Mark Z via PDK. This is a huge, absolutely stunning, ginormous positive news from Iraq. Quote, Baghdad Erbil reached an agreement on the 2023 budget, lawmaker, unquote. Mark Z says, I am told things have gone well. It's submitted now for a quote-unquote rubber stamp on it. They even outlined the details of it in the article. We were always told this is one of the last things that would suddenly happen before the RV release. So this tells us that we are awfully close.